Oh, hello. How have you been? How's your summer? I'm obviously not in my room. I'm in someone else's room. And the person who owns this room is making a video in the other room. And if you can hear that person yelling, don't worry, it's not an abusive neighbor, but just someone who's really excited to play Roblox. Before we get into the video, I would like to thank today's sponsor, BetterHelp, a great program that puts mentally ill people to the brink of financial stress to the point where they're not actually getting help and they seek group therapy and going to an actual psychiatrist. BetterHelp, listen, I'm gonna tell you this, no one who's actually mentally ill is gonna suggest BetterHelp because there's just so many scams and so many bad things surrounding BetterHelp that it doesn't help you. It helps you realize that, okay, maybe it's time to consider group therapy. Maybe it's time to go to a session, a free one. And this is what you do. If you don't have the means to find free therapy online or even go to a psychiatrist, maybe you don't have insurance, this is what you do. You get in your little car and you grab yourself a fun drink and you drive around your town until you come across a church, okay? Because churches will often have free group therapy sessions for anxiety, depression, old people who have lost their husbands or wives or partners and now are coping with living alone and the loneliness that precedes them for the next couple of years until they die of having a broken heart. And you step in and you say, hey, I'm clinically depressed, or at least I think I am, and I need help. And you sit in a circle, and they have like free cookies and lemonade and styrofoam cups, and you talk. And you also feel a comfort of having people around you who are also going through similar situations. And it makes you feel not just less lonely, but it feels like if these people are also seeking help here, then there are other hopes and chances of me not just progressing mentally here, but also other opportunities that may arise, or when I can find a psychiatrist, or I can find people to help me when I can't help myself. And you know, I know that there's a bit of fear of group counseling, especially at churches, because it's a religious institution, right? And a lot of people who are mentally ill are also gay, and that's fine, and that makes a lot of sense, because especially if you live like in a religious household that you were forced to go to church every Sunday and you went to a Catholic school and you had to wear the uniforms, there's a lot of trauma building up, and churches are like, and that's understandable, very understandable. So, if you don't feel comfortable going to a church, you don't have to. But I can say that I know that there is at least one church that won't end the therapy session with a biblical scripture. I can say at least one. Sunday school, I went once. It was during Christmas time. We went to a church for their Christmas Sunday service. I've talked about it so many times, but it's my favorite thing. They have a puppet show of how Jesus was born, but my favorite part of it is that it's a remix of Bohemian Rhapsody, and they use puppets to display the entire thing. It's my favorite thing. I don't even recall the story that much. Like, I don't really know what happened. I don't know how, I know that he was in a barn and Mary somehow sat somewhere maybe, and there was cum and it went inside of her, and she got pregnant, and here we are. Born to cleanse the sins, or whatever it is. Sunday school, I felt stupid though, because I didn't know a lot, and a lot of kids did, and they were raising their hands, and they were like, it's in this part of the Bible, and I'm like, oh. I will say though that in school I felt stupid, in general school too, and that doesn't help either. There's a very specific group of kids who were gifted, like they were in like the gifted part of the school where they had like specific classes for them and they were academically really good, and then they had like a burnout phase when they went into high school, and now they're just average. Well, I was just average. I was always academically average, even when I tried really hard. And that's what bugged me. There are people who didn't study. There are people who just got it. People who didn't need to overanalyze every single word and look at flashcards and try every single study method just to get a grasp of it, right? They were getting really deep in it before I could even get to the surface. And because of that, having little ability to grasp new concepts, information, and memorize them within the time span that I was given, it was hard. I felt really stupid. And to this day, I still feel stupid. It's taken me a long time to somewhat get over that my brain, along with a lot of other people's, work differently than people who can just get things immediately and don't have to study for hours. And even when I do study for hours, I still don't get it. Those games where like Kahoot and stuff make me nervous, right? Academic games make me nervous because you have to kind of hold up the answer immediately the moment that you're supposed to. Like, there'll be like blah, 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 and then like a section of answers, and you all at once have to hold it up. There has never been a time where I've been confident in holding up my answer. Half of the time I got it right, or at least half to the minimum that I got it right. So like learning new things now that have nothing to do with school, it scares me a little bit because I feel like I'm not gonna be able to grasp it. That's why I don't, like I've said, I don't like playing games. Here's the thing. Everyone experiences the anxiety of learning like a card game the first time, right? I know it's a universal thing. I know it's not just a me thing, but someone explaining a card game to me, like, and everyone else kind of already knows it, but like they're explaining it in very simple terms, right? Like, okay, well, this card means this, but then when you pair it with this, that's a this, and then you can double that for this. You lost me at card. It also prevents me from wanting to learn new things. Like, I actively just kind of stay in this bubble of not wanting to venture out and explore and do new things purely because of the fear that I'm not going to be able to do it at the rate of how normal people would be able to do it if they started doing it for the first time or they started learning how to do it. And this rounds up to the point why I prefer watching gameplays instead of playing the games. Also, it's way more cheaper. Like, why would I buy Five Nights at Freddy's knowing that I'm scared and like I don't know my left from rights when I can just watch Markiplier play it and he gets to the next level way faster than I could? But yeah, for a long time, and I still do, which sucks because I have kind of an answer now, but I've just felt really behind. I felt really behind compared to everyone when I was in school, and now I feel, oh my god, especially in college, because college is kind of, there's more free range, right? You get to choose what classes, what rate you go at, what pace, how many classes you take, summer classes, all these things. The graduating in 4 years thing and putting in your bio as soon as you're accepted into a college like ASU 24, the confidence in kind of knowing that you're going to be able to manage all these classes and take summer classes and have a job and do all these things and succeed at them for 4 years and maintain that timeline. So by 21, you have a degree. I can't help but feel lame. I can't. Even if I surround myself with people who also are kind of in a similar boat and are taking their time with school, there's something in me that will always feel like I'm a failure. Managing literally 4 classes is like juggling. And I have not just the easiest job in the world, but the most least time-consuming job in the world on top of that. But for some reason, I can't do it. I can, but it sucks. But I have to remind myself that everyone is at a different pace in life. There will always be someone more successful than I am. And there's someone who's kind of in my position as well. There's someone out there who is as slow as me, but in a comforting way that I know that I have a hand to hold. And so this started the search for an answer. Or at least the search for some sort of help. Because if I'm putting all this time and effort into going to school and into my job and all these things, I need assistance if I want to be able to succeed somewhat at this, to maintain it enough where I'm not crying myself to sleep every night. I'm getting there. It's now just every other night. But this is when I started kind of talking to my one friend about my struggles, and they were like, that's me too, like I totally get it, you know, especially having ADHD. And I was like, you have what now? And they were like, I have ADHD. And I was like, interesting how we have so many qualities shared. Now here's the thing, people were like, oh, you shouldn't self-diagnose, you shouldn't like take your symptoms, take a test, or look at things online and be like, oh, that's me, because that's dangerous to the community, which I get. But also, you have to kind of self-diagnose to seek help to figure out if this is what you have, right? If you have symptoms of being sick, very specific symptoms, you're gonna look them up, you're gonna somewhat self-diagnose, go to a doctor, and then get diagnosed with that. There has to be self-diagnosis somewhere in order to get the problem. You can't find the solution of a problem if you can't figure out at least what direction to go to on the path. So I think it's okay to self-diagnose, to seek help. But also, seeking help and seeking a diagnosis is expensive. Not everyone has insurance. Not everyone has the necessities and needs to go to a doctor and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And they say, that matches up with a lot of what this is. Here's medication. Here's therapy options. Not everyone has that. And so to judge someone for kind of identifying with symptoms of something and then being like, you might have the same exact symptoms as me, but also I was diagnosed by a professional that I could afford under my parents' insurance, and you don't. Bullshit. Don't you privileged bitch. Okay, so I was like, yeah, let's just see, right? Because why not? And as we all know, I didn't even have to say that I have ADHD in that one video. Like it was very telling how I can't stay on topic. I'm surprised I've gotten this far. I like to give myself a pat on the back. I went to a professional and I was like, this is how I'm feeling. And then he started naming things that I didn't tell him how I approached things and how I was feeling, and started saying, do you feel like this? And I was like, how did you reach into my frontal cortex, rearrange it, and put my emotions and thoughts into English? How the fuck did you do that? So here I am with ADHD and no plan, because I reached out and I said, hey, I love that you gave me a little title. I feel like a queen, but now I need help. It's great to have an answer, but now I'd like a little hand holding in the process. And he said, that's great. That's wonderful. I'll send you our list of therapy options that cover your insurance. And I said, that's wonderful. So here I waited and twiddled my thumbs for a week and a half. And he said, we have a consultation ready for you. I was like, great, let's do this the day after my birthday. That was a me choice. I chose that path because I thought it'd be kind of funny. Yeah, I had a phone call the day after my birthday. It lasted 2 minutes. It's supposed to be a 15-minute call because I was told that apparently everyone in Arizona is in need of therapy. And I was put on a wait list. So now it's just a waiting game. They gave me alternatives for now, which I'm going to look into. But to properly talk to a therapist, a psychiatrist, all that stuff, it's a waiting game. And it sucks because I know there are people in worse positions mentally than I am who are also on this wait list and who need help now. Luckily, I'm just naturally delusional, so I can dream up a therapist and this is what I do. This is my DIY therapy. At 2 a.m., I sit up in my bed. It's dark. I can't see anything. And I start talking to myself. And I go, why are you the way that you are? Why do you move like that? Why do you do this? And I this is actually, don't do this. This is not healthy. Like I don't get anything positive out of this. I just start crying. Nothing good comes out of DIY therapy, do-it-yourself therapy. Nothing comes good out of sitting at your bed and overthinking and just crying. I will say that this journey of figuring out what's wrong with me has been eye-opening because I realized that there's nothing wrong. There's just something going on. Just because it's going on doesn't mean that it's not wrong. It's just going on. I hear exercising is good and it makes you feel better. I don't know. I did a plank last night. Everything hurts. I'm sad. Maybe I need to jog. But then again, my back hurts from jogging because I have scoliosis. I have a lot of issues. It's which one should I address first? Which one should I go to the doctor for first? My scoliosis or my brain? Anyway, I don't know what I've drawn, but I hope you enjoy it. I don't know what the drawing is because I draw it after I record, but I assume that it has some relation to the video. What piece of advice can I give during these moments? It's okay. It's okay. As long as you find yourself a nice, big titty anime man and you can imagine a life with him, all your worries are gone. That's how I made it through 2020. You want to know? You know what? You know what? Do you know what it is? I was great during 2020. A lot of people were depressed. The reason I was doing well was because I was distracting myself with a bunch of AO3 fix, boyfriend ASMR videos. Yeah, anime men. That, like, the distraction from all the... Don't listen to me. You're gonna take my advice like I'm licensed. And I'm no better help. And I better not be any better help.